I'm presenting this to a group of businesses this week, sorry, next week, and my speech is titled Ancient White Sisters. I work in this firm and I'm going to present the presentation. So as a firm we specialise in wills and probate, and these are the areas that we specialise in. So I do probate, wills, immigration, trusts, lasting powers of attorney, and litigation, and of course family. These are all the areas that as a firm we specialise in, but I particularly deal with wills and probate, so I'm going to give you a bit more detailed information about wills and probate. Now, first of all, I'm going to explain about what a will is and the benefits of having a will, and then I'm going to go into a bit more information about probate, and then later on at the end I'm going to talk to you about if someone hasn't presented a will and haven't prepared a will for themselves, how I can still help them. And lastly, I'm going to give you some live cases that I've worked on and how things have worked out for those people. So now, first of all, I just want to discuss what does a will do. So it obviously protects your assets and your children. So in a will, you can put down your wishes. So your assets are something you spent your whole life gathering together, earning from your salary, from your income, so you bought these assets. It could be a property, it could be bank accounts, shares. So you should protect them and give them to the people that you love and you choose. But if you don't put in a will, then the rules of intestacy, which are rules determined by the government, those rules will decide who will get from your assets. So that's what a will does. Now, if you've got small children, like for example this family in the picture, and they've got small children, so if you've got small children and you haven't prepared a will, then you can't appoint guardians for your children. So again, guardians are somebody who, for example, if a husband and wife pass away at the same time, who will look after your children? So in a will, you can set out which members of your family, your friends, that you think would be best suited to look after your children, so you can appoint guardians in your will. Also, another very big benefit of having your will is that usually, if there is no will, there are family arguments, people start squabbling, who gets what, and you'd be surprised the cases that we encounter. So a will can avoid all of that as well. Also, there is, these days there are so many people getting divorced, for example. But some people get separated but don't get divorced. So in that case, if you haven't got a will, your ex-spouse can still inherit from you, strangely enough. And yeah, it does happen. So if you've got a will, you can exclude your ex-partner, even though you may not have divorced. So that's another benefit. Again, also, there are many different types of families these days. So you might have, some people might have been married before. So if you've got children from a previous marriage, you can make provisions for them in your will, and you can give them some of your assets. Also, you can give gifts to extended members of your family, and you can choose, for example, a charity that you might want to give to in your will. And if you haven't set a will, again, the laws of intestacy, which are rules set by the government, will determine everything, and there will be no gifts to a charity of your choice. So, another good reason to set a will. Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about what information is required when drafting a will. So, for example, you need executors. Executors are people that will basically carry out your wishes in your will. So you need to choose who you trust, a family member or a close friend who will carry out your wishes. And then your assets. Who you want to give your assets to. You can choose your own children, you might want to give to extended members, as I said earlier, or children from a previous marriage. And again, it's gifts as well. You can give gifts to different people of your choice. And lastly, you can set out a disaster clause. And that picture imitates exactly disaster. Because, for example, if you, and it really is a disaster clause. So everybody that you love and you know, if they all die in an accident or something like that, again, you wouldn't want the government to have your money. You might choose an extended, far-off nephew or whoever that could actually inherit from you. And that's a disaster clause, and you can set that out in your will. Now, that's a bit of a morbid picture there, but I'm going to try and explain what probate is, and hopefully the humour of it will make it easy for people to understand. So probate is when a person dies. So what happens when they're dead is that every single person, their probate has to be granted. And this usually happens by making a solicitor making an application to the court to get all their assets together and then pay off their liabilities and distribute the net estate. So that's what probate is. But here's the thing. Say, for example, you haven't set a will, you've got a lot of assets, you've got children, and there is extended family as well, and you haven't done your will. So this is my favourite trick, and I like to boast about it. It's called a deed of variation. So even though you didn't have a will, we can still save the day. And we do that by the agreement of all of the beneficiaries. We vary the will so that we vary the estate so that we still can save you tax. And we can still distribute the estate effectively. Now, I just wanted to quickly share a case with you that I recently worked on, where there was no will, but there were 2 wives. It wasn't a polygamous marriage in the UK, but they were married outside the UK, but then they moved to the UK. Now, both wives were claiming a right to the estate equally. And this is a case I personally worked on. It's a high-profile case. We have settled it last month only, out of court. But it was a really interesting case where both wives are saying we want an equal share, and my client actually got a higher portion. She got 57.5%. Okay, so this is a really sad case I want to share with you. This is the second case where children were left unprotected. In this case, unfortunately, both the British couple passed away in India. They left a minor deceased child who survived the car crash. That child is still currently in India, and the Indian government have appointed a guardian, and we're still dealing with the immigration status of the Indian guardian as well as the child's entitlement to the estate. So that's a really sad case where there was no will, there was no guardian, and there were no provisions for the child, and I'm still working on this case currently. Okay, so why would you choose Ancient White Solicitor? We are ideally located near the North Harrow station, and I have many years of experience in estate planning and probate and wills, and we are proficient, and we always cater for the client. We provide a very unique, specialised service, and it's always exactly what the client needs, so it's a very bespoke service. So that brings me towards the end of my speech now. Thank you very much, everybody, and hope you